Hi, Sam here. I hope you're doing well. Today I wanted to just talk about some of the basic exercises that we can do to improve our hammer-ons and pull-offs. These exercises are almost so obvious that it can be like, well, how's that going to help? And I think there's a little bit of a thing with guitar players in particular that it has to be some special exercise in order to kind of cure all ailments, but really the simple stuff works best. And of course, this video is all about exercises. I don't necessarily practice this stuff all the time. I try to keep it relevant and musical to actual musical situations. However, having a little bit of a guitar car service, so to speak, now and again can be really helpful for your technique. And many years after studying legato and trying to improve my own left hand, these exercises I come back to no matter how simple, and just reminding myself of them sometimes gets me back in sync, especially if I've taken a break and all that good stuff. So I'm going to dive in with the first example, which is going to be based around the A minor pentatonic scale, this position. And that's 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5, 8. That's the frets. And hammer on is where you take the first note and you hammer on with another finger. So in this case on the E string, 5, holding that with the index finger, and then hammering onto the 8th fret above it. So whilst holding that index finger down, then the little finger there lands on the 8th fret. And if it's done with the right timing and enough force, but not, when I say force, it's barely anything. I think you have to find this for yourself. How light can you get away with? I'm using a bit of gain. I've got a lovely guitar which plays itself, so it makes it a lot easier for me. But, you know, something to consider for your own playing. Brute force slows you down. That's the thing. So we've got to get it in time. So that's what this first exercise is going to be based upon. It's going to be based upon literally making sure that we can do a hammer on and a pull off, which is once you've got to that 8th fret, we're going backwards. Now some of the viewers I know probably have tried this exercise before, but I'm just making sure that I'm being very clear here as much as I can remember to be, and just make sure that you've got the kind of how I see the fundamentals at least. So you will do a trill. A trill is where you go back and forth, so you pick once and then you do hammer pull, hammer pull. That's the kind of idea. So I'll try and keep it even as 8th notes. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and really annoys the neighbours. Okay, you might want to combine that with good old speed bursts where you do 8, like maybe half a bar of 8th notes, so 1 and 2 and then on beats 3 and 4 you might do 3 E and a 4 E and a. So if I was practicing this, in fact I don't really do it that often now because I'm lazy, probably that's the real excuse, but I am quite busy with some other stuff. But when I did practice this back in the day, when I had a bit of time, I'd put a stopwatch on for 2 minutes, and I wouldn't try and play fast. I'd try and play as in time as I could, but only for that 2 minutes, so I didn't overstrain. Then I'd take a break, and then I'd go on to the next exercise. That seemed to help me back in the day, and maybe I should do that again. But hopefully, maybe give it a go, and maybe get like 5 exercises, so you end up with a little 10-minute routine. Hopefully, some of these will help. Anyway, so in that 2 minutes, I might, 3 times. So not 3 times. Sorry, that's the worst thing to say when I'm talking about subdivision. Sorry, as in change strings. So I might go somewhere else in the pentatonic afterwards, maybe to the B string, 5 and 8. So. G string. So that's fairly, straightforward really. Nothing much to that, except this is the very, very thing I was talking about. It's simple. And if it's simple, then guitarists go, oh no, I'm not going to be able to shred like Rick Graham with that exercise. However, that stuff is going to help sort of dial in the synchronicity of your left hand. Another classic exercise, of course, I mean, the other classic really is just the trills between different finger sets. So fingers 1 and 2, semitone apart. Fingers 1 and 3 a tone apart. Fingers 1 and 4 a minor third apart. Maybe fingers 2 and 4 a tone apart. Or maybe even actually fingers 1 and 2 a tone apart. But be careful here with, you know, the stretches and things like that. If it hurts, stop. The next thing to do is then put this into 3-note per string. So that's quite a stretch. Let's do somewhere a bit simpler. 5, 7, 8 on a B string. So we're going to go 5, 7, 8, pull off back to 5. Sorry, I went a bit creepy there, but that's the idea. It's triplet 8th notes. And I want to make sure that pull off there to the 5 is where my foot is landing. Or hopefully the metronome if I was a bit more prepared. Then you can do a roll, which is where you hammer on and then pull off back 7 and 5. And we think of this as 8ths or 16ths, so 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and so that's a good one. Okay, I don't know what happened to my timing there, but hey, this is for you to take away and master, and I'm just here sort of showing you what not to do. So that's one exercise, that's 16ths. You could make variations, the classic Ingve sequence. That's a killer for fingers 3 and 4. So that's 5, 8, 7, 8. I'm going to go and practice that one after the video, I think. But hopefully that's some food for thought. And what I would do is I'd take a key. So I'd see if you get all your 3-note per string scale patterns across the neck. You know, you can start to sort of improvise. This I went back to that 8th note one, so I'll do that again. Sorry. Then I might try different positions, picking at the start of each one. So that kind of gets you, you know, gets the synchronization going a bit with the left hand. And you can make up, you know, your own, like there, for example, I chose to follow, I mean, I improvised that, but I kind of made a progression out of it. So less becomes an exercise and starts to become a bit more slightly musical, for lack of better words. So this exercise is directly lifted from Paul Gilbert's Intense Rock 1. I highly recommend anybody who's wanting to work on their technique to check that classic 80s shred guitar instructional out. But this is a phrase that he plays. So he goes... So that's 5 on the high E, then 8, pull off to 6, pull off to 5 on the B, then 7 on the G, then back up where we came from, so 5, 6, 8 on the B, back to 5 on high E. Now what you have to do is make sure the right hand is in time there, so it's pick, pick, pull, pull, pick, pick, hammer, hammer, and then you start again. And that's 16th notes, or 8th notes, depending on how you want to see it. So yeah, that's a helpful one to get down. And of course, you know, if you can do it in that position, see if you can move it diatonically. So that's going to get you a different stretch there. Now I'm still in, this is in A minor, I'm visualizing. So now starting off the note B on the high E string. So 7 on the high E, then 10, 8, 6 on the B, and then 9 on the G. And then you could do starting on 8 now, where we're going to go here. So yeah, it's worth practicing these in different. This is all A minors, the same sequence. Same again, next position, starting off the D note at the 10th fret. Then starting off the 12th fret. 13. Then 15. And then 17. So that's where we started. So classic example right there of just taking that one exercise and then maneuvering it. Okay. So those are some of the basic core ideas behind some exercises you can do. These are great exercises because they're simple, and you should practice them with full attention to them and in short bursts of time at tempos, comfortable but just pushing your ability in order to build the speed, but also doing it really slow, because I think with hammer-ons and pull-offs it can really show where, you know, one finger might be really paying attention and the next finger might be, you know, just behind or something like that. So you just want to make sure you're programming the evenness and the control over the hands. So that's all we're really doing. And then you can stick on YouTube or Netflix or whatever popular streaming app you're using to watch your favourite sitcom or comedy, and you know, you could do these exercises whilst watching that or waiting for food to cook or something. But the idea is that you can take these core ideas and apply it to your own style. So if you're a pentatonic-y blues player or a blues scale, using the kind of, you know, those three and two note per string sort of mixtures, you know, you might work on patterns which you use a lot within those positions. If you're a hardcore Richie Kotzen fan, then you might start working on some 3-note and 3-on-1 patterns and stuff like that with some of these ideas. Making up your own exercises. I mean, this is the core. If you're going to spend any time doing exercises at all, it's best to just make your own sort of ideas as soon as you can out of the exercises. And remember that I don't think there's many solos where it's just like a legato run for 16 bars, unless it's, you know, some progressive metal thing or Racer X or Guthrie Govan or some instrumental prog rock guitarist. But most of the time it's, you know, it's bursts here and there, and all we're doing is training. You know, we're getting ourselves ready to, you know, have less in the way in terms of technique. So don't make technique the master. It's getting technique to serve your musical purpose. And with that being said, I've spoken way too much. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you like it, then please click like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, please. And for those who are subscribed and have watched this far into the video, I really thank you for, you know, you knew what to expect here and you put up with it for the whole 10 minutes. So I really appreciate it. Anyway, I'll see you soon with more Fridays Fast Phrasers, more technique stuff, more covers, more demos, all that jazz. I'll see you soon.